He said you'd be mad at us for not following their orders.
And they don't feed us. We have to make food for them first and clean up after them.
And if we get too loud, they make us sit in the kitchen pantry with the light off.
I found out that they were also looking through my bedroom, that they made the girls their little servants, making them get and do everything for them. And then the worst stuff, they made them dress up in silly outfits and made them dance to their own amusement, mocking them and filming them. I was raised in a single-parent home, where my loving father took care of us as best he could after our mother died at a young age. Being the oldest of three, I helped out as much as I could. I made lunches, helped with dinner, and babysat long hours, while our father was at work day in and day out. My father made all of our lives as best as he could, but it wasn't always easy. Sometimes we'd have to eat the same food for days on end because it was so cheap to buy. We only bought used clothes, and we never went out. As the years went on, our father became more successful and was able to afford better stuff. Our youngest brother, Max, remembers the good times but doesn't remember the hardships we went through because he was too little to remember.
Are we going to have pizza tonight?
We already had pizza last night. Let's do something a little bit more healthy.
But I want pizza. Son, listen to your sister. We already had pizza. How about we have a healthy dinner and we can have ice cream for dessert? Well, okay, I guess, but it better be chocolate.
Our father just wanted us all to be happy, and he did a great job at that. He sadly passed away before he could retire, but not before giving me and my sister a good head on our shoulders. We took money and education seriously. Max wasn't a terrible student, but he only made just passing grades, and he always spent what money he got right away, even when he became an adult.
Let's go to the movies, guys.
I am sorry, Max, but me and Pete need to save for the kids. We can watch something online at our place and order some pizza if you want.
That sounds lame. I'll just head to the club. That sounds more fun anyway. See ya.
I thought we would have instilled some family and money values into Max, but I think he always accepted that he could get whatever he wanted, never realizing the actual costs. We drifted apart, and years went by, and we barely communicated with one another. After two girls, Carrie and Lizzie, 10 and 11, and owning my own house, I got an unexpected call from him.
Hey sis, I know this is out of the blue, but do you think me and my wife can stay at your place for a quick visit?
You got married? I was in shock. Max never told me about his personal life, really, but this was still a complete surprise.
Yeah, it's me, Stacy, and her sister Maddie. I know it's sort of last minute, but I told them you'd be cool with us coming over. Say next week?
Yeah, anything for family, I'll let Pete know. Happy to see you soon. The next few days were a blur of cleaning and getting things ready for our unexpected guests. When they came, everything seemed okay at first. We all got along just fine overall. So how long are you all going to be in the area? We love seeing you all.
That's the thing. We might be here longer than we thought. You see, we're moving to this area, and we're hoping to look for a new place while we stayed here. 2, maybe 3 weeks tops. You'll hardly notice we're here. Promise.
It took a little convincing, but Pete was willing to accommodate them. We already had one spare room, and moving both girls into a single room opened another room for Maddie. But by the second day, things quickly changed. Max always wanted to go out to eat, but wanted to split the bill evenly, even when he, Stacy, and Maddie ordered the most expensive items and drinks.
Come on, Jane. You're my older sister, and I know Pete makes lots of money. Help us out here. It's embarrassing.
If money was such a big issue for you, why did you three keep ordering the most expensive stuff?
You could have ordered expensive stuff too, you know? No one made you order the cheap food.
Besides, didn't you guys invite us three to this specific restaurant? Why bring us here if you didn't want us to try new things?
Yes, but what Jane is trying to say is that you could have tried something new and moderately priced. This is just like old Jane. Fine, whatever. We'll pay for ourselves. But we are not leaving a tip. The service was terrible anyway.
That was only the tip of the iceberg. Later that night, Max, Stacy, and Maddie drank our liquor after we went to bed. We had a few expensive bottles that we were saving for special occasions. They didn't clean up after themselves. There was throw up on the carpet near the couch. They woke up the girls and Pete and me in the middle of the night. Pete had to tell them to be quiet. The next morning was rough.
Oh, come on. Why buy expensive liquor when you're not going to enjoy it? We can get you some that taste just as good for a fraction of the cost. Besides, it tasted about the same as other whiskey with Coke.
That wasn't cheap whiskey. You're not even supposed to mix it with Coke. You woke up the girls, you left a mess, including puke by the couch. You got mad at Pete for telling you guys to quiet down, and you have yet to apologize for any of it.
Is your sister always like this in the morning? Because I am starting to feel unwelcome here. I thought we were family.
Jane, look. I am so sorry. We will try not to make that much noise at night anymore, okay? But I think it's unfair. You want your guests to clean up this house. Get one of your kids to clean it up. It'll be a good learning experience for them.
I will not have my girls cleaning up drunken puke.
Fine. Maddie did it. When she wakes up, I'll make her clean it. Happy?
After that, things weren't as bad for a few days. Max, Stacy, and Maddie mostly stayed to themselves. They didn't clean up after themselves, but thankfully they didn't make as big a mess as their night of partying. During the day, they would be out and about, looking at places to rent. Did you find a place yet?
Not yet. We keep looking. But all the good places get taken too quickly, you know?
Yeah, it's not a good market for buyers at the moment. That reminds me, Pete has to be out of town for business. I'll be here, of course. But I do need to work a few swing shifts. Would either of you be willing to watch the girls for a few hours after school this week? They're old enough. You really don't have to do much. Just feed them and make sure they don't hurt themselves.
I guess we can. They seem quiet enough.
Thanks, Max. I appreciate it. Even though I knew Max wasn't that dependable, my girls were old enough to mostly watch themselves. I just wanted someone to make sure they were home and safe. Boy, was I wrong. The first day or two seemed normal enough. I would come home late, and the girls would already be getting ready for bed. They didn't really want to talk, but they were at that age where kids wanted to distance themselves from their parents, so that didn't seem too odd to me. But by the end of the 5 days, they were not the same two happy, hyper children I remember. They seemed tired and sad. Lizzie, is everything okay? Is Uncle Max and Aunt Stacy being good to you and your sister?
Yeah, kinda.
Mom, they're not nice.
Shh, Carrie. We'll get in trouble.
Who will get in trouble? And by who?
Uncle Max said we'd get in big trouble.
In big trouble for what?
He said you'd be mad at us for not following their orders.
And they don't feed us. We have to make food for them first and clean up after them.
And if we get too loud, they make us sit in the kitchen pantry with the light off.
I found out that they were also looking through my bedroom. That they made the girls their little servants, making them get and do everything for them. And then the worst stuff, they made them dress up in silly outfits and made them dance to their own amusement, mocking them and filming them. Tears filled their eyes as they told me all this, and my heart broke for them.
And when we tried to refuse and the pantry didn't work, they spanked us.
It was at that point I was livid. After giving my girls hugs and telling them everything was going to be okay, I wanted nothing more than to yell at my brother and kick him out. But something Carrie said stuck with me. They were filmed. The next day I went out and bought lots of liquor. I had the kids go stay with some friends for the night, and I told Max that for watching the kids, we would have a little party with lots of drinks.
See, now this is the cool sister I always wanted.
They drank, and I only had water. As the night went on, they got really drunk and were whooping and hollering and dancing. Finally, they started to pass out, and on the cusp of falling asleep, I made my move. I grabbed each of their phones, and one by one, hey, you wanted to show me something on your phone, what's the passcode? And without fail, each of them unlocked their phone for me. Now it was my turn to invade their privacy. I found the videos they took of my girls being made to dance, and where they got spanked, I sent those to my own device. It looked like Max was also stealing money from Stacy's parents. With Maddie's help, they had lots of text going back and forth on their little scheme. And Max had his boss's contact information, which he was on vacation from. The next morning, I made a few calls before they woke up. The police arrived to arrest them for the videos they took showing what they did to the girls. Surprised at this development and deeply hungover, they started fighting the cops. As they realized why they were being detained, they started pointing fingers at who was the ringleader. At first, Stacy took Max's side, But that quickly changed as I told her about his scam against her parents with Maddie's help, and that I sent her their texts as proof. In the end, they were both locked up for a year and some months. Next, once I got the police report, I sent that information to Max's job, whereby he was fired immediately. Years later, when they were out and the dust had settled, I heard from my sister that Max tried to get her to help him. He was poor and unable to get a job in his field again. He had become depressed and homeless and only recently got hired at a factory, barely making ends meet. I know for sure how frustrated he is doing that job. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our best to reply to your comment.